Hey everyone, Brad Williams from Web Dev Studios here. So a couple weeks ago I dropped a video showing how to connect Claude AI directly to WordPress using the MCP connection. And the number one question we heard was, we can read content from WordPress, but can you actually create content? Can you update existing content? And the answer is absolutely yes. And that is what we're going to show off today in our next live demo. We've updated our custom WordPress abilities plugin. We can not only pull our content from WordPress, post pages and other content, but now we can actually update our content. We can create drafts and publish new content. We can analyze all of our existing content, including Yoast SEO data, which I'm also going to show you how to update using prompts directly from Claude. So I've got a blank WordPress install ready, and by the end of this video, it's going to have real content, real pages, and a clean SEO setup. And I'm not going to do any of that in WordPress. We're going to use Claude. So let's get into it. If you watched our last video, we walked through exactly how to connect Claude directly to WordPress using what's called an MCP connection. As you can see, if I'm in my Claude app right here, I click the plus sign under connectors, you'll see I still have my Web Dev Studios connection, which is what I showed on the last video. If you're curious how to do this connection, please watch that video. It walks you through step by step exactly how to hook Claude up. We're going to take that further, knowing that the connection is already in place. But you'll also see I have a Brad AI connection. This is my new connection to my new localhost environment, my local WordPress setup where I want to play with content in an experimental way and on a development environment that I didn't have to worry about messing on webdevstudios.com. So remember, if you go into Claude settings, click on developer, you'll see any MCP connections that you have here. I have the Web Dev Studios one that I showed you last video, and now I have my new Brad AI connecting right to my local host. If you have no connections, the only thing you'll see is the edit config. If you click this button, it will let you go. It'll take you right to the edit config file where you'll make these connections. I want to show you what our connection file looks like. We have two connections here. Last time we only showed one. So let's go over to our browser, and I put this in a simple gist we could look at. So this is what is in that Claude configuration JSON file. Right here you can see I have two servers I'm connecting to. One is Web Dev Studios, which is exactly what we did on the last video. And I added a second one. Not only I want to show how to add a second server, but also this is a local host connection. So there's a little bit of differences I wanted to show off. Quickly, you'll notice I'm connected to localhost. This is my Brad AI website. It is not secure. It's on HTTP. MCP doesn't like this, but since we're working locally, this is the best way to do that. We don't have to worry about breaking anything while we work on our plugin and our integration. So this is a great way to set it up. I'm going to show you exactly how to make this work. Not only is HTTPS required for MCP, but it's also required for the authentication or application password we talked about on the last video that authenticates Claude with your WordPress website. So we need to make sure that we have the localhost configured correctly. The way we do that is you actually will have a simple one line that you add to your config file, which sets your WP environment type right here. We set that to local. So that tells WordPress we're working locally. We don't need HTTPS. And it also allows us to use application passwords in our testing. So when we go live, we will be able to use that. So make sure you have this set if you're working locally. If you're connecting to a live website, this is not necessary. It'll work just like our last video. But if you're local, this is a requirement or else it will not work. You won't even be able to create an application password. So let's go back to our example and let's actually show some things we can do. So Claude is connected to Brad AI. Well, what can Claude do being connected to Brad AI? So the one thing I always say, I'm connected to two WordPress websites. Let's make sure Claude knows what website I want to work with. I don't want to just say, hey, let's work on WordPress. There's two WordPress websites. It doesn't know which one I'm talking about. So let's always make sure it has the right context of where we're at. So I'm going to say, let's work on the Brad AI WordPress website, and it's going to check our connection and make sure we actually have abilities set up that we can work with the Brad AI website. So it's loading the tools. Hey, look, we're connected to WordPress. It found 4 abilities. Last time we only had one, which was get posts. Now look, we can view posts, we can create drafts of posts and pages with Gutenberg blocks, we can update existing posts, and we can fill in SEO gaps. We can do all of that with the updates I've made to our custom WordPress abilities plugin. So let's look at how we're doing that, and then we'll show it of how it works. So here's our plugin. I'm not going to go line by line, but this will all be available in the comments or in the description of the YouTube video, so you can copy paste this and kind of modify as you want. We have our WDS category just as before. This is our get posts ability that we've registered. It's basically saying, hey, AI, if you want to pull all the posts from this WordPress website, this ability is available. It defaults to 50 posts. You could always modify that. You can see what it's pulling back from the schema, and then it executes the get post function, which pulls back basically everything we did last time. The only change here is we're also returning Yoast SEO metadata because we want to analyze that. Is it empty? Could it be modified? Could it be improved? Let's bring that back when we review our content. So when you get posts, it's not just going to grab the post, it will also grab SEO, Yoast SEO data along with that. Now let's look at our next ability. This is new, create draft posts. So we created an ability that's going to let us create content directly on our WordPress website through Claude. So we're not even going to log into WordPress. We're going to do it all through Claude. Really, really cool. You can see all the input schema, all the values that can come through, the different blocks that are available, excerpts, categories, tags, featured image, it's all there, right? So Claude or any AI tool hooked through MCP will know this is available via an ability. And then when we create our draft posts, of course, here's all the code that goes into actually creating that content, sanitizing, looking for categories, tags, sending it all into WordPress and creating it using insert posts the way you'd expect. And we also have our update post. So this will allow us to update existing posts. If we want to change posts that already exist, we're not creating a new one, we're going to update an existing one. So again, we can go in there, look for posts that are lacking content, maybe we want to expand on, and it will update those existing posts, assuming our MCP user has permissions, of course. And the code that actually does the update. And then finally, I want to show off the update SEO meta, because this is where it gets really exciting. So now we've built an ability that allows you to directly not only pull, but also update the Yoast SEO data directly through Claude or your favorite AI tool. And this is where, again, the mind starts to explode. The things we can do with this. We're just scratching the surface. So let me actually show you how this works. Again, this will all be available on the YouTube video description. So don't feel like you have to write this down as you're looking at it. But let's go to Claude and start having a conversation. So we already know what abilities we have. It's telling us right here in kind of plain English. You could always query it if it doesn't say what abilities are available. But let's start out. We're going to start creating content. So we're going to make a fictitious company called Acme Bakery. And Acme Bakery, I know nothing about baking, absolutely nothing, right? Claude and AI know a lot about baking, so we're going to create some content. So first thing is, let's just try a basic example. We're going to create a blog post on how to properly store sourdough bread, right? I don't know how to do that. It's going to write a detailed blog post. It's going to be an intro, 3 main sections, a nice closing, and then it's also going to tag it under bread tips and baking. So not only are we creating a nice new draft blog post, we're adding tags, we're optimizing the content. These are creating Gutenberg blocks. So when we go and look at this in a minute in WordPress, not only will the whole page be drafted, but they'll be in logical blocks based on the content that's in there. So it is now executing the ability. So it is researching the topic, it's starting to create the post, it's starting to draft the post, and as soon as it's completed here, we'll go in and take a look at what that looks like on the WordPress side here. So we'll give it just a second to complete. There we go. We have a live draft blog post. It's not published. You could publish it. A little bit scared to do that automatically, but you could. In this case, let's draft it up. I have a post ID. I have the URL directly to edit that post, and it gives me all the great information. You know what? What better way to see what it did and then go look at that post. So let's go right here to my Localhost, my Brad AI website. This is a fresh install of WordPress. The only thing I've done is installed the Ollie theme because I think it looks a little bit better. And I deleted the content that comes with WordPress. And I installed the free Yoast SEO plugin, the free plugin, not the paid one. What do we have here? We have a blog post on how to properly store sourdough bread. I have no idea how to do that. Let's see how we do that. So if we go into the editor, let's see how it did. Hey, nice title here. That looks pretty good. Look at this. This is a legit post. Quick storage tips. Nice summary. Let's check out the block. Look, these are blocks. These are Gutenberg blocks it created. Amazing. Done. It's a draft, right? It's ready to go. It's ready to be modified, updated, however you want. What else did we say? Well, we said we also want it to have categories. Baking bread tips. It created those categories. They didn't exist. And then it assigned the categories to the blog post. All I have to do is hit publish, and I have an awesome blog post for my new Acme Baking website. But what else do we need on this site, right? We need some pages to talk about our business. So what better way than to use AI, right? So now we're going to go do a little bit more advanced. We're going to create 4 pages, not post pages. We're going to have a home page, about us page, a menu of what we actually sell, and a contact page, right? This is all I'm telling Claude. I'm not giving it any real information about our company. I'm just saying I need some pages to start working on, right? So it's going out. One, it's starting to figure out the abilities it knows it has, and it's starting to generate the content for these 4 pages. These will be drafts. You know, we don't need categories because our pages don't have categories. But these will come out and look really good. So we'll let this go ahead and execute, and then we'll see what it comes up with on the other side. Boom, all 4 pages are now drafts ready to go. Look at that. We got a home, we got about us, our menu, contact us, post IDs, menu order, which it's set based on the the way it thought it should be ordered, and edit links directly to it. I could click on these, go right to it. Gives you a little summary. Well, let's go look at what it did, right? So again, we have pages, refresh, boom. Welcome to Acme Bakery. About us, our menu. Let's look at what it made. Let's just go to the front end. Welcome to our bakery. Baked fresh. Wow, we get up early to bake bread, don't we? 4 a.m. I guess you got to get early because people want their pastries in the morning. So a few of our favorites. We should probably start making these if we're going to sell them, right? This is pretty neat. It's just using logic to fill in blanks. It has no idea what we're trying to do here, but you can only easily imagine what you could do with a little bit more prompting, really feeding it the information about your business, your company, whatever you're looking to accomplish. Again, that was one page. We got a nice about us. Well, let's find out about our backstory. Wow, born in 2003. We're an old company. Real ingredients, community first. Love it, right? This is starting to look like somewhat of a website with content that is 100% produced by Claude. So next in our example, again, we need to learn about sourdough if we're going to actually create sourdough bread. So let's create a 4-part blog series, right? We can call it the Art of Sourdough. 1 post per topic: starter, culture, fermentation, shaping, and baking. They're going to have an intro, subheading, and tip list. So we're creating 4 blog posts. This is a 4-part series. It's creating a nice calendar cadence for us, right? You could publish one a day, once a week, once a month. This could be great in a newsletter. Hey, look at our new sourdough 4-part series, right? This is the type of content that really brings people back. All right, we'll go ahead and let this chug go through as it's creating these 4 blog posts, and then we'll take a look as soon as they're generated. Boom, all 4 blog posts are now drafts ready to go. 4-part blog series on the art of sourdough, created in a matter of a minute or two on a topic I know nothing about. So let's go look at what it made. Go back to our post. Remember, we made a post initially, but this is our 4-part series. Let's check out the first part here. So again, part 1, building and maintaining that starter culture, which is so important with sourdough. One of the few things I do know. Look at this. This is great. We got our tips at the bottom. We got our subheaders that we talked about. It even put in categories that it tagged, or sorry, these are tags that it automatically put on here. And again, it's 4 parts. Let's go look at the 4th one in the editor. Again, these are all blocks. This is part 4, baking the perfect loaf. Look at this. You could do cross-linking throughout these posts. There's so many opportunities here for taking these further. This is just a very basic example. But the last thing I want to show is where I really think the power starts to come. Let's look at our pages. And one of the most important things about websites are SEO, right? Helping search engine and AI search find your website, find your content. Well, we created these posts. It didn't generate any of the SEO data that we would expect. This is all default Yoast. The meta description's blank. There's no focus keyword. Well, guess what? We can fix that with Claude. So let's go back to Claude. Remember, we can pull back SEO data and we can update it. So we're going to read all the posts on the site, find any missing SEO title, meta descriptions, focus keywords, and fill in the gaps in those posts and those missing items. So it's going to go through. In this case, it's going to look at posts. So we'll go back and look at the posts. We could also do this with pages. But it's going to go look for those specific Yoast SEO fields that are saved within the plugin, within WordPress settings. And anything where there's gaps or opportunities, as you can see, Claude is actually figuring out a few things on its own. So all of these posts and pages, they're all drafts, right? They're not published. Well, Claude recognized that. These are not live pages, but even though they're not live, and it detected that, it said, hey, I'm going to put them all together, the posts and the pages, all 9, because they're all missing this information. And I'm going to go through and actually update this with proper SEO. So it is going to do posts and pages. And this is where it gets interesting. AI can take over and start making recommendations and even start doing things with, if the abilities exist, it can get smart and continue to take things even further than you might realize. So it's kind of adapted to the prompt that I gave it, and is actually going to produce something even better because it's updating everything that's missing. So look, it found all 9 of them needed something, right? And it went through. Now we have an optimized SEO title. We have an optimized meta description. We have clear focus keywords that it's set. So let's go back and look at what that looks like. I can just refresh this post. Look, it put I guess we're in Burlington, Vermont. It put a focus keyword in there for our bakery. Remember, this is our homepage, right? It gave us a really optimized title for the homepage. It's not using those Yoast template tags. It customized it. And look, it gave us a beautiful meta description there, right? So, and this happened across all of our posts, our pages. Let's go to a post. Art of the sourdough. It's important, right? How to bake sourdough bread. Right? Look at our title. Look at our optimized meta description. This is where the game starts to change, right? Now where this becomes a massive tool where I can actually interact with WordPress. I can draft content. I can analyze what's working. I can make changes to my WordPress website without ever visiting WordPress. I can do it all through Claude, all through ChatGPT, all through your favorite AI app. Imagine sites with thousands, hundreds of thousands of content, right? And going through and be able to analyze it in one big pass and make optimizations and updates across all of that. It opens up so many opportunities, cross-linking opportunities, going through existing content and cross-linking where it makes sense. AI can do that. Automated content calendars, you can set up a content calendar and just let it run, and it could auto-publish every day. The absolute ideas and what you can do here are just endless, right? So, and that's it. One WordPress site, one AI, one conversation. It is absolutely a game changer. So if you want to build this for you or any of your clients, the link to all the plugin, everything we talked about will be in the description on YouTube. And if you want to work with a team that's been deep into WordPress for over 18 years and is building these integrations for clients right now, you know where to find us, all right? Hit subscribe. We got a lot more coming, and we'll see you on the next one.